Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt, and welcome back to Far Lands or Bust. Chick, chick, chick. Woof, woof, woof. And dig, dig, dig. We are ready to continue. Oh, what? Okay, here we go. We are ready to continue. Go! Good gravy. What is with the creeper attacks recently? And zombies. The swimming zombies. He's just enjoying his vacation. He could have chose a warmer spot to start swimming, but the creepers be creeping recently. The last few episodes. Well, last episode we actually had a creeper explosion. We don't normally experience those very frequently. And receive death from the diamond sword of spawn pointiness. And I will spread your ashes thusly. So yeah, anyway, welcome back to Far Lands or Bust. Very strange things happening. But this is episode 343. Sorry, I was grabbing the dirt. Get out of the way, chickens. And grabbing Wolfie and continuing on. Actually, let me chop down this tree. Get some additional wood stock on me. Making sure there's no creepers around as well. But yeah, episode 343. It is Wednesday, April 16th, 2014. As we continue well onwards to the Far Lands, like I said, heading west here. This is Minecraft Beta 1.7.3. For those of you new watchers who are unaware, it is the last version of Minecraft to include the Far Lands. Well, not necessarily include. It wasn't a conscious decision. It's a bug. It's a part of the game's terrain generation that is torn asunder. And when they released the 1.8 beta adventure, quote-unquote, update, they changed the terrain generation, and that inadvertently removed that bug, the Far Lands bug. So that's why we have not updated since. When did that come out? That has to have been, well, definitely over 2 years ago. Yeah, because Minecraft 1.0 was released November 2011, and that was the first Flobathon. And we just passed, so yeah, two and a half years we haven't updated Minecraft, I guess you could say. Obviously, over the past episodes, I've been talking about how I had to update the launcher, the Minecraft launcher, since the security issues of recent past have deemed it so that Mojang has to stop supporting logins from the old launcher, which I had been using for all that time. But we seem to have ironed out the kinks of the new launcher and are continuing on through this very interesting lava flowy area. That was a nice little, I like that kind of, it was a little like a river before they actually added rivers to the game. But regardless, continuing west, and we're also continuing to raise money for Child's Play charity, and boy howdy, who says boy howdy anymore? No, very generous donations coming in, and we're up to, listen to this, we're up to $1,248.16. This season of Far Lands or Bust, this is season 5? Season 5! Is it? Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Yeah, season 5 of Far Lands or Bust. Oh, man. Who's driving this ship? Because I certainly am not. It's on autopilot. But yeah, $1,248.16. Thank you very much, everybody who keeps donating. Like I said, we don't have a goal this season, and I am kind of still working on restructuring the way we give back here in Far Lands or Bust, and we'll be eventually adding a choice of charities and things and causes we wish to support here. And I'm looking forward to the continued generosity of equal proportions for these other charities that I'm working on getting added. So very cool. I do appreciate that. Yeah, like I said, farlandsorbust.com. Right now there's a Child's Play charity widget that is tracking the donations that you can click donate, and then with your donation you can add a comment, ask a question that I will possibly get around to answering in an episode of it's Farlands or Bust. I don't know what that was about. But yeah, very cool. And I mentioned in the last episode, a little bit of a follow-up from the last episode. I mentioned that the lunar eclipse, the blood moon, the lunar eclipse on Monday night, technically Tuesday morning, happened, and while throughout most of the day, I had been getting here in the Chicagoland area a bunch of clouds and snow. Got like an inch of snow on the ground. The clouds parted ways in time, just a little bit past midnight for the lunar eclipse. It only started at about 1 a.m. for me, and I was up for 2 a.m. was when totality began. Hello, tree. You having problems? That's weird. 2 a.m. is when totality occurred, and I kind of was checking out my window. I was able to see it through my window. I saw just before totality, and then just as totality began. And then I went to bed because it was late. It was very cool looking, and it was also cool, I forgot to mention, that Mars was right next to, well, sort of right next to the moon in the skies. So if you were watching the lunar eclipse and you saw a bright red star next to it, that was actually Mars, because Mars is at opposition right about now, which is very cool. But yeah, it was very cool looking. It's been a while, a couple years since I've seen a lunar eclipse, and it's very eerie to see. And I mean, it's, you see the moon in the sky, blah, blah, whatever, you're kind of used to it, but to see it kind of transform before your very eyes, and like I said, when it is not full, but when the eclipse is total, you can still see the moon. It's still moderately illuminated by earthshine. And then as you see the shadow pass across it, it becomes kind of red. It wasn't really red. It was a little bit red, but in eclipses past, it has been a much more stark shade of red, of azure. That's blue. What's red? Crimson or something. Let's just stick with the English words. Red. That's generally, thanks Wolfie for pushing the boat. That's generally linked to volcanic activity, because the red comes from the atmosphere, and you'll notice if there is volcanic activity that sunsets get a lot more red and orange. Same thing would force a lunar eclipse to appear more red, because that's the light being fracted, I suppose is the word, through the Earth's atmosphere, and there hasn't been too much atmospheric volcanic dust. So I don't think it was as red as it could have been, but it was still very cool. It's kind of almost eerie, because there's the moon, like a full moon there, so you expect it to be bright, except it's dark, and you can see more of the surrounding stars, and what it does is it kind of gives you more of that three-dimensional perspective past, in outer space. Obviously, you're looking normally at the night sky, you see the moon, the stars, or whatever. It's pretty much a two-dimensional image you're seeing there, but when you have events like this, and I assume it's only magnified 100-fold when you see a solar eclipse, or like when we saw the transit of Venus, of how we are in this three-dimensional, outside of our own, on the planet here, you look out into the sky, it really, this three-dimensional thing you can start to put together, especially with Mars there, the kind of orbital plane at which the planets go around the sun, but also the moon goes around the Earth, and it really kind of puts things into perspective. So that was kind of a cool thing that I noticed, and when I was looking at that, I'm kind of like, oh, I wish I had kind of made time to set up my telescope, but like I said, at that time, there was frickin' snow on the ground in April, and it was cold. It was 2 a.m., and I'm like, all right, everybody else who's up and watching, enjoy, but I'm gonna go to bed. So yeah, lunar eclipse, very cool. And there are a bunch, speaking of the blood moon and how it kind of was a big deal, and people continue to be talking about it, a lot of fake pictures of it are making the rounds on the internet. What? Who would just go on the internet to tell lies? But yeah, a lot of fake pictures showing up on the internet. I'm noticing a lot of these mosaic pictures where there's multiple images of the moon in the different phases that look completely fake. So be wary before retweeting or resharing images. Make sure you check to make sure that these leaves are kind of problematic. Make sure you check the authenticity of what you're seeing. As the sun sets and we can't see the moonrise because there's this giant tree in my way, I should actually chop this down. I'm afraid I'll spawn on those blocks of wood and into the leaves. Probably wouldn't happen, but yeah. Anyway, let's go to sleep and we'll continue talking in the morning. And awakeness. Woofness. Woofness as well. I suppose I might as well grab this wood and continue on, as I said. Get out of here. Yeah, so a lot of fake pictures, and there are, I suppose, in a grander sense, you see a lot of these, at least on Twitter, and I'm sure they're Facebook and Instagram and elsewhere. A lot of these, what are certainly robot zombie accounts. Oh, all right. That was fun. All right, let's just be careful. Careful, Wolfie. All right, good. Just spawn right there. These accounts on Twitter, like Earth Pics, spelled with an X, or space porn, or amazing pictures on Twitter that just post a bunch of pictures. Don't follow those accounts. They have like millions of followers as well. It's horrible. But basically, a lot of the problem with those is that they are inaccurate, fake pictures. You see a lot of these space pictures. There's this one that always goes viral. It's supposedly a solar eclipse taken from the International Space Station, and there's a big shadow, and you can see the Milky Way, and the moon and the sun are like gigantic, and the shadow, and it's completely fake. It's totally fake. It's somebody's like DeviantArt picture that they just made a mosaic of or something, but it's constantly getting retweeted and thousands of favorites whenever Earth Pics at Twitter like retweets it or something like that, and it's really quite annoying to have to debunk these things. And there are actually now a few Twitter accounts. There's one fake Astropics that actually goes around and replies and debunks these fake pictures that are posted. And also another problem with these, the ones doing the fake posting, is that they don't, of the pictures they do post, they don't provide any attribution to the original source or anything. So they're basically just stealing these pictures and reposting them and getting all the attention and retweets from them. And they're actually, I read an article that a lot of these are actually multi-million-dollar like businesses for these people or companies that make these Twitter accounts just posting picture spam. I don't know how they make their money through advertising, I'm sure, and data mining and whatnot. But do not follow such things as those. Follow like the actual, there's Astronomy Picture of the Day is like an actual through NASA thing that posts astronomy pictures. Follow actual photographers. Follow the fake Astropics and other ones that look out to debunk these. I don't understand why some people don't recognize. Maybe because I was a graphic designer and I understand what Photoshop can do. That I'm like, that's clearly not real. What is wrong with all you people following these accounts? But yeah, I just wanted to mention that because I've been noticing a lot of fake lunar eclipse pictures and things. Indeed. Yeah, I don't know if it's... before I started posting Let's Plays on my YouTube channel, I actually, with my old camera, had an intervalometer, which takes pictures every minute or so. And there was a lunar eclipse back, was it 2006? Something or other. And I basically just set my camera up on a tripod outside and just had it take a picture every second. Not every second. Yeah, I wish I could take a picture every second, but every 60 seconds. And then I made a time lapse of that, of the eclipse going through, which was kind of cool. And I uploaded that to my. I don't know if it's still there. You'd have to look back. You'd have to like look at my channel and look at uploads, and then look at oldest to newest to see if that's still up there. I don't know if I took that down or not. I can't remember. But oh well, that was my brief foray into eclipse photography. But there's going to be a few more. They tend to happen in bunches. I think every 6 months or so for the next year or two. At least for North America, there will be lunar eclipses. They come, like I said, in kind of groups, and those groups are named scientifically for whatever sequence or orbital sequence that caused them. But yay, lunar eclipses. Also, following up, topic last episode, I actually put annotations because as I was uploading the video, the news item changed. I talked about the SpaceX Dragon, the Falcon 9 launch. That was to happen on Monday at about the same time I was publishing the Far Lands or Bust episode. It was scrubbed just as they were about to start. It was about an hour before the launch. And just as they were about to start the live cast, it got scrubbed because there was a detection of a helium leak around the first stage. So they scrubbed it. It I suppose, violated one of their requirements for launch, and now it is rescheduled for Friday, this Friday at 3:25 p.m. Eastern Time. That is 12:25 p.m. Pacific, I believe. Yeah, did that conversion right. And choked while doing the conversion. Although the possible issue there is that they're only right now, the forecast is 40% go for the weather. There could be weather that could hinder the launch then, but so look forward to Friday, hopefully, fingers crossed, for a launch to the International Space Station from SpaceX. Indeed. So yeah, I talked about the very generous donations, and a very generous donor who really got us up to a lot of this $1,248 for Child's Play charity that we're at. Nathan asked a few questions, so I figured I would get right around to thanking him for his generous donation and answering some of his questions. But his first question is, how do you like your beds? Preferably horizontally. It's kind of difficult to sleep when a bed is up on a wall. But no, how do you like your beds? I'm in the military and have slept on a lot of beds and find that I much prefer a harder bed to softer ones. Harder beds tend to make me feel better when I wake up. Yeah, it's hard to say. I suppose I do prefer a firmer bed. I do remember when I was living at home, and I suppose it came time for my parents to buy me a new bed. I'm like, okay, but anything except extra firm. And what did they get? Extra firm. So for a while, it took a long time to get used to that one. But once I did, it was hard to switch to a softer bed, or say when I go to hotels or on vacation or whatever. I have a trouble sleeping in the hotel beds. Although my biggest problem with hotels are their pillows. Like, really, they're in the business. Here's my problem with hotels. What's the deal with hotel beds? They're in the business of providing places to sleep for people on the go. And their instrument for sleep, the beds and pillows, are often the most horrible things in the world. It's like, where do you get your pillows? At a factory for discarded diapers? It's like these things are all lumpy and soft, and then some of them are like overstuffed like a giant balloon, and they like hurt your neck and blah. Somebody figure out a way to sell hotels actual pillows that are conducive to sleep. But regardless, a little bit of a tangent there. So yeah, I'm not sure. I can't say I've been through enough beds to know my specific preference, but firm but not too firm, I suppose, would be a preference in bed. I'm not a big fan of the huge pillow top fad and stuff like that. So I don't know. I haven't bought a bed in a while, so I wouldn't particularly know the bed market. Second question from Nathan. These are very random questions, I do appreciate it. If you had open body surgery, such as surgery on your lungs or heart, Would you want to be awake with anesthesia so that you can watch what's going on? I'm pretty sure, like, open heart surgery, they don't let you just have local anesthesia. You pretty much have to be knocked out. But he continues, I think it would be cool to be able to talk to the doctor as he goes about his work. So, how's the weather? Is there jumbling around on your internal organs? No, I don't think I'd like to be awake. That'd be pretty terrible. Although I do go back and forth as to whether or not I would want to see the footage afterwards. Because normally I'm quite squeamish when it comes to surgical footage on the television, or even fake gore and needles and stuff on TV or elsewhere. Kind of creeps me out. I've never broken a bone in my body, aside from the pinky toe. Potentially, it was never confirmed, but I'm pretty sure it was broken. The pinky toe incident. But I've never broken a bone, but I'm pretty sure I would have a pretty serious breakdown if I were to break a bone and it was like a compound fracture and I would see the bone, or something was not completely right like that. I'm pretty sure I would throw up and then faint, something. So I'm a little bit squeamish when it comes to that. But I'm not sure if, because, like open heart or body surgery, it's kind of like, how often do you get a chance to see inside your own body? So I don't know. I'd be like, if you're recording footage of this for educational purposes, I might want to see that later, just to be, ooh, that's weird. Gross. What have I been eating? Anyway, thank you very much, Nathan, for your very generous donation to Child's Play charity and for those questions. Let's go to sleep and continue in the morning. And awakeness. Right, Wolfie? Peeking around the corner. Let's continue on. Ooh, it's a clear day here in Minecraft. A clear day indeed. Oh, I wanted to mention, during Flab-a-thon, I don't know if I actually mentioned this, but during Flab-a-thon, while we were walking, we noticed a strange cloud formation, like there was a circle. It was like a perfect circle. And we were like, what's up with that? I've never seen that sort of thing before. And we were wondering why that happened, if it was like a randomly generated thing. But no, apparently the sky, the cloud texture is actually from a texture in the texture pack, and we had been using a different texture pack provided by Axis One, the Flab-a-thon specific texture pack, and apparently the cloud texture that he included there had some of that stuff in there. So yeah, that isn't randomly generated or anything. It was I don't know if I thought maybe later on. Maybe I thought I saw a B also, so it's very possible as an Easter egg he spelled out flob with the cloud texture, and we were just seeing the O at the time. So yeah, I kind of wanted to mention that. So yeah, I suppose right here we're seeing a part of the cloud texture pack texture file that is blank, which is pretty cool. It's not often that you have that, and it makes sense that there are cloudless days in Minecraft here, but yeah, very cool. Let's see. Let's go down the list of questions here. Whoops. Just fall right in, fall flat face forward into a lake puddle, if you will. Let's see. Leaf. Sorry, from Norway asks, can you do an LP on a Vex or other CTM map for YouTube? I can, and I have. It's not impossible. I did what did we do? We did the caverns? No, the caves. Something caves or caverns with the KGBs. With Brian, Schism, and Gleason 9. I'm not sure how well I do at those, both for commentary, but also just my own personal preferences. I tend to like things a little bit more low pressure and casual, so I'm more about like adventure maps maybe, like I do with Two Girls on Minecraft. I do a lot of the high pixel, the Herobrine Mansion type adventure maps. I'm more about than say the full-on CTM maps. Those kind of if you decide to do one of those, they tend to become quite the commitment. Because you're kind of saying, I'm going to keep playing this until I complete the monument. So yeah, probably I wouldn't hold your breath for that sort of thing from me. It would have to be if I was part of a group or a co-op thing that wanted to include me in doing it, then perhaps, but not by myself. Probably not by myself. I feel like those would be better multiplayer stuff, but thank you very much for the donation in question. Oop, I hear Skeletonus. Let's go down the list. Do you plan on doing any non-racing games, particularly Minecraft, with Vintage Beef? I suppose it's kind of a similar question to the previous one, but that's from Chalky. I don't know. And I suppose an even more related question than that from Noodlemeister asked, with the third F1 co-op season nearing its conclusion, there are 2 races left. What lies on the horizon for Team Mindcrack Racing star drivers Iceman and Milk? Will the F1 shenanigans continue, or will there be other plans in the future? I have no idea. I have not discussed such things as these with Vintage Beef, and we have yet to record the next 2 episodes of Formula One. I don't know. I think we might be, Formula One might... It'll get a little bit repetitive. This is the 3rd season, even though it is where you're playing the new game. All the tracks are the same, the cars are pretty much the same. The only things that have changed are like my racing wheel and stuff like that. So I feel like if we are to do, I'd certainly like to do more racing games, multiplayer stuff with Beef and other people. And I know Paws kind of likes racing games. Obviously, I've played with Avidia and Co-Star the Grid game. It's just really hard to find a good, fun and recordable multiplayer racing game. The good thing about Formula One is that it has that co-op mode for 2 players to play against the rest of the field and do an actual championship. A lot of the other games like Grid are just like, oh, it's online multiplayer and just a race at a time, and that's fun for a few races, but there's no series structure that can be made of that. And then, of course, there's the really terrible games like NASCAR racing that doesn't allow co-op racing. You only can, if you're doing multiplayer racing, you can't have the computer AI to race against. So it's quite difficult to find a good multiplayer racing game. So I'm certainly keeping my eyes peeled and certainly looking forward to, I suppose, the eventual multiplayer additions to games like Assetto Corsa. It'd be really cool to have multiplayer in like BeamNG Drive, things like that. But I'm not sure. As for Formula One, not sure. Kind of up in the air. Like I said, it's kind of feels like it's going to be running its course here. Being as we've done 3 complete seasons, I'm not sure there's much we can do to mix it up. But yeah, I do. That's one of my favorite series is to do. So yeah, I would be looking forward to doing other racing with Beef, possibly other people. As Chalky asked, another maybe a Minecraft series with Beef. That would be cool, or just a brief co-op thing, or even the simple stuff like playing on the Play Mindcrack server, or just we did a couple times before the Play Mindcrack server existed. We did some stuff on the Hypixel server. Myself and Beef did some of the survival games because he was into doing that. He did a series in that, so I joined him for that for like 3 or 4 episodes, which was fun. So yeah, I mean, I never count any of that out. It's just it is difficult to schedule such things as these, and aside from the fact that say Beef has 3-4 videos go up a day, I'm more of a 1 at the most 2 videos a day type of person, so to make time, it's not just Beef's schedule, it's my own schedule, or lack thereof of a schedule that would have to be contended with. So yeah, I would never count anything out about that. Indeed. Samples. Whew, I feel like we've been walking through quite the snow biome. Whoa! Quite the snow biome here. Careful, Wolfie. Oh, you went the right way. Good job. Quite the snow biome here. I'm looking forward for different landscapes, and it looks like my wish has been granted. I'll go a little bit to the right here to cancel out that x-axis that we're way far out. Oh! What is this? Haha! Floating slab of snow. No, this isn't snow. This is ice. Hi, Wolfie. Thanks for joining me. Floating slab of ice. Floating slab of ice. You are very slippery. Go, careful, Wolfie. Although that was kind of an interesting way to end that song with a Wolfie injury sound effect. Indeed. Let's see if I have any. Speaking of sounds, I guess, from Treehad, what is, in your opinion, the most satisfying sound? Oh, that was okay. How about... That was a good one. That's just satisfying because I can do it. And it just is kind of weird to do that. And people are like, what? The droplet noise coming out of nowhere? I have no idea what the most satisfying sound is. Music is pretty satisfying, and it's a sound. Ooh, although I would say rocket launches are incredibly satisfying. Like, in person. I, unfortunately, was never lucky enough to see a space shuttle launch in person, but those supposedly shake your hat off and really shake you to the core. The Juno launch, it was an Atlas... What was that? What was that? That was an Atlas 5? No. What? What was that? What rocket was that? Yeah, that was an Atlas, wasn't it? Atlas 5. Yeah. And I think so. Anyway, it was an unmanned rocket, obviously. I was at the press site at Kennedy Space Center, which was 3 miles from it. Although it did have solid rocket boosters. The solid rocket boosters are the crackling, the really thumping in your chest sound, and that had solid rocket boosters. And indeed, even though it was, it had, 1/10 the power of a space shuttle, it was a very earth-shattering noise. So I would say rocket launches are very the volume is just madness. And hey, Wolfie, where you at? Oh, hi, how you doing? You're right there. Boop. Yeah, come over here and sit. Well done. We've already got a torch out, so we will make the hidey hole, the final hidey hole for this episode. But yeah, I feel like I've answered a similar question, like what is your favorite sound or something. So yeah, definitely rocket launches. Just because people who haven't experienced a rocket launch have no idea that anything could possibly produce a sound so loud and intense as a rocket launch. And I was about to say, it's probably even, sure, the space shuttle had more power, speed, power, thrusts, and whatnot, but also considering the fact that there are human beings riding atop this massive structure that is emanating this incredible sound and light, and it's like an atomic bomb facing upward, and the fact that there are humans atop that, from 3 miles away, it shakes you to the core. These people are sitting on the tip. They're strapped to the tip of this thing. That probably the kind of emotional effect of that probably has a little bit more of an impact as well. But yeah, let's go with that. Rocket launches or... dang, that was... See, it's a difficult thing to do. It takes practice, and I've been a little bit out of practice, but... Oh, nope. Once in a while, I get a really good one. Today is not my day. I did the good one, so we're done with it. Anyway, Thanks so much for watching this episode 343 of Far Lands or Busts, and for all of those very generous donations to Child's Play charity. I was literally blown away. I exploded. I spontaneously combusted when I logged on to Child's Play charity and saw the amount we had raised. So keep giving at farlandsorbust.com. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time.